For the next 9 days, I'm going to be exploring Mozambique's Gorongosa National Park. I've mainly come here to see my favourite animal, which is the African painted dogs, but I've also come to explore more about the park's unique history and the restoration project following the Civil War here. I'll be taking you with me on the best sightings of the trip, so I hope you enjoy. This was our first morning waking up in Gorongosa. It felt so peaceful and still, with the first light just starting to hit the trees around Shikari camp. After a quick coffee, I loaded up the jeep with the help of my guide Castro, and then we headed out. I had no idea what we would find or where this day would take us, given that this was a completely new place for me, so I found that really exciting. Not long after leaving camp, we spotted our first elephant, a lone bull feeding in the morning light. We've just come across a big male elephant, and he's feeding, reaching his trunk up to the high branches and wrapping it around and pulling it closer to him. So it's really cool to be able to just see that behavior and watch him so peacefully feeding away in the morning light. As the morning went on, we explored further. As we drove, we checked each waterhole we came across, pausing to watch waterbuck wading and a herd of wildebeest that scattered when a baboon's alarm call broke the silence. Then, later in the afternoon, we came across what I'd really been hoping for, my favourite animal, the African painted dog. The pack that we found was made up of 12 dogs, most of them still young, only a few months old. African wild dogs have one of the most cooperative social structures in the animal kingdom. Only the alpha pair breeds, and the rest all help to raise their pups. When they get older, it's usually the females that leave, the opposite of what happens in most other carnivores where it's the males that disperse. It's a system that keeps the family bond strong and the genetics healthy. Dogs were all just relaxing, playing in the sand, rolling around, and then all of a sudden they made these noises and charged off together as a pack. I love hearing their vocalizations and how they communicate with one another. Among the pack was a male with a fresh injury, a torn ear and wound on his shoulder, probably from a fight with another pack. Conflicts like this can happen when territories overlap, but he was still keeping up with the group and moving well, which was a good sign. Before long, the pack were back on their feet, regrouping and resting in an area of long grass in the afternoon light. As the afternoon cooled, the young ones became more active, chasing and play fighting with one another. For them though, it's more than just play. It's how they learn and strengthen the bonds that hold the pack together. At the end of the first 24 hours, we had seen the dogs, elephant, lion resting in the shade, and hippos wallowing as the sun set. It's safe to say that this left me feeling very excited about what the rest of this trip would bring.
This is going to be a really exciting morning because we're heading out with a team who are rehabilitating the pangolin. Pangolin are actually the most trafficked mammal in the world, so the work that they do here is really crucial to help bring their numbers back up in the wild. I've been looking forward to this morning for a really long time now, so I can't wait to meet the pangolins and bring you with me.
This is my first time ever seeing a pangolin, so this was really exciting for me. We headed out with one of the vets from the Pangolin Rehabilitation Centre based in the national park. This pangolin is named Ivani. Her name means listen in English.
Pangolins is special and it's very important to keep this species. We start work with rehabilitation pangolin in 2018. Now we receive 156 pangolins. In the center we work with 3 vets and 1 technician every day to take pangolins in the rehabilitation center to fields.
It's time for Ivani's foraging lesson in the field. This happens daily because it's a vital skill for her to learn, for her to be able to be released back into the wild. At first, she's nervous to explore, so she sticks close to the team. The team look for a termite nest and break the surface to encourage Ivani to forage for herself.
This pangolin was actually handed in with her mother, but her mum was sadly dead by the time she was brought to the centre, so they've been raising her since then. Initially she was bottle fed, and now she's learning to forage on what she will be eating when she's released back into the wild.
She's instinctively looking for food, so it's great to see her investigating her surroundings. She didn't find anything she wanted to eat here, so continued on with her search. It was amazing to walk alongside Ivani, seeing her in the habitat where she belongs. The team found a termite nest, so they brought her to it to give her a helping hand. She's clever and immediately uses her claws to start digging deeper into the mound. Ivani's tongue is likely longer than her whole body. They can grow up to 40 centimeters long. It's amazing to see her foraging for herself. This lesson is going really well. Ivani spent more time wandering around trying to find nests for herself. And she was curious about my camera too. Pangolins can choose whether to walk on all 4 legs or just 2, with their long tails acting as a counterweight, helping them to stay upright when their front legs are not on the ground. She reminded me of a little T-Rex stomping around like that.
It just seems crazy to me that someone would want to harm such a special animal, especially when the reason that they're doing it is really for their scales, which is ultimately just the same material as our fingernails. So you just think, like, surely it's not worth the lives of all these really, really special animals.
Ivani's foraging lesson today was a great success.
She's about 4 kilos at the moment, and she needs to be 5 or 6 to be able to go back into the wild, so she doesn't have too long left to go now.
Her lesson is now complete, so it's time for her to go back to the centre. With the help of this amazing team, hopefully Ivani will be back in the wild soon, able to breed and bringing the next generation of pangolins to the reserve.
On every video, I always get asked what camera kit I'm using, so I thought I'd quickly run through the specifics of what I have here with me on this shoot. So first and foremost, and most excitingly, I have the new Nikon ZR with me, which has been great to spend more time with it on location here. And with this, I've been using the 28-135 power zoom lens. This has basically been what we've been using for all the behind the scenes and also some of the wider shots that you'll see in the video. Then, as with any of my videos, which if you've watched them before, you'll know this is my go-to and my favorite. I've got the Nikon Z9 with me with the 400mm 2.8 lens with the inbuilt teleconverter. It's basically my go-to long lens for any wildlife shoots where I'm all right with a bit of a heavier setup. And I think the benefit here has really been that we were able to remove one of the seats and the door from the side of the vehicle, which meant that I've actually been able to use a tripod and a fluid head for my filming this trip, which is very rare for me. Normally I'm just shooting handheld with a beanbag or something over the edge of the vehicle or boat. I've also got with me the Z8, which is what's being used to film this, with a 7200mm lens. I haven't really done much filming with that so much, but it's more been a stills camera. So it's kind of a similar focal length to what we have on the ZR here, but the megapixels on the Z8 had kind of double that to the ZR, so that's really been the go-to camera for stills photography this trip. Another exciting addition has been this, which is the new DJI Mavic 4 Pro. Before I was using the Mini, so this is a huge upgrade for me, and this actually has 3 lenses on it, and essentially they kind of work together to give what is like a 6x optical zoom. Not quite optical zoom, but similar. It means that I can actually be filming wildlife with a drone, which is not something I've done before. As I'm working with the park team here, I've been allowed to do that. So it's been really cool to be able to film animals from the drone and to do so at such a distance with the 6x zoom that I'm not causing disturbance in any way. In terms of accessories or other bits, I've been using the Atomos Ninja as my monitor when filming on the Z9. Especially if I'm kind of leaning over the edge of the Jeep, my camera's at an awkward angle, it means that I can have the monitor where it's more easy to see. And in terms of mics, I've got the Sennheiser Creator mics, and then top mic I've got the MK600. I've not had that on all the time, but for when we've been filming animal behavior, which has really lovely noises, I have been putting it on. So we used it for the pangolin when she was feeding to get the noises of her kind of sniffing around, finding the termites. I've used it a lot for the dogs to obviously get all their vocalizations as they're yipping and whinnying to each other. And I also used it for the bull elephant when he was in the water foraging for plants, splashing around. So I've been able to get some lovely sounds from that during this trip as well. The only other thing I have with me that I haven't mentioned yet is the Z30, which I've been using as a vlogging camera, but to be honest, I've not really used it that much this shoot. But it can be handy sometimes just to have, you know, a small camera. I have a clamp on the vehicle, so sometimes I'll just clamp it on that and film either a time lapse of or behind the scenes whilst we're busy doing something else and just leave it there running. But yeah, that's my full setup from this shoot. I hope that was helpful. If you have any more questions, do put them in the comments. But let's get back to the video.
The next morning we spot a whole group of hippos in the river. So I put up my drone to get a closer look. Currently filming some hippos just swimming along in the morning. And it's really cool because I got the new Mavic 4 Pro for this trip. And it has a function to just 6x zoom into the image, so it means that I can stay really high and far away from the animals but still get drone shots without obviously disturbing them in any way. So it's really nice to be able to get those wildlife shots in that different perspective, but obviously not causing any impact in doing so. I think that the behaviour we observed were 2 huge males fighting over a group of females, so it was amazing to see this behaviour and for them to behave so naturally with the presence of a drone being so far away so as not to cause any disturbance. Then my sister and I set ourselves up by the riverbank to watch the hippos and film them for a while. We had a few snacks and a coffee whilst waiting for them to come a little bit closer. It's so nice to be able to share these moments with my sister, joining me doing what I love the most. I've always loved filming wildlife, so I'm so glad that we can have these moments together too. We were able to catch a glimpse of a calf with its mother before it ducked back into the water. A baby hippo stays with its mother for about 1 to 3 years. And then I finally got the hippo yawn that I was waiting for.
We're heading out now for another afternoon game drive. I was really hoping to see the dogs again this afternoon, but apparently they're in a really thick area that's really hard to get to. So we've decided to change up the plan a bit. We're going to head over to an area where we saw some lions the other morning, see if they're still around. And then we're thinking to head towards the hippo area for sunset, try and get some shots of them interacting in the water, hopefully some big hippo yawns. So it should be another lovely evening. We've just pulled up alongside a group of lions. There are 2 young males and 2 young females all resting together, and the light's just starting to get really lovely. Every now and then one of them will get up and walk towards the other, give it a little headbutt, and then lie back down again. So it's so lovely to be able to spend time with them and watch them interact with one another as a group. So funny watching them. She just got him to groom her, and then as soon as he stopped, she was like nudging him, being like, do more, do more. Reminds me of the dogs when you stop touching them and they're asking for more attention.
As the sun sets, I remind myself how important it is to watch wildlife respectfully like this. The lions are just so relaxed with me here filming them. But here in Gorongosa, things haven't always been this way. Doug Flynn is the director of Gorongosa Safaris here in the National Park.
Around us here are more than 110,000 large animals, from lion and elephant and leopard and buffalo, that now roam these extraordinary expansive plains. But it was not always that way, because after the devastation of the Civil War, less than 10,000 animals remained in a landscape that had been absolutely decimated and was covered in landmines and broken. But now, when you walk and you spend time in this landscape, you see Africa's iconic megafauna once more, and you see a landscape that has come back to life.
It's hard to comprehend the devastation this land once faced when sat watching the lions grooming each other peacefully like this. And sometimes I like to just put my camera down and enjoy the moment with my own eyes.
This evening has been the perfect example of why it's really important to be flexible and adapt to what you find with wild animals.
Because we had this plan to go and find the hippos and spend the evening with them, but then we came across the lions and found them in beautiful light and having lovely interactions amongst themselves, so we decided to stay here instead. And I'm really glad that we did, because
it's really beautiful to have those moments of 2 of them interacting, nuzzling heads, grooming each other. So we had a lovely evening as the sun was setting with the lions.
Another species affected by the Civil War is elephants. An elephant's memory is exceptional, allowing them to remember people, locations, and events for many years. During the war, up to 90% of the elephant population was killed, primarily for ivory, used to fund the war. This trauma has then been transferred through generations of elephants, so we had a couple of intense encounters during our time here. We followed this male for a little while. He was relaxed at first and scratching himself up against one of the trees. Then he started to approach us and flap his ears as a warning sign. We backed off to give him space, but he kept coming closer. And then he charged towards us, so we quickly reversed and then we headed off to leave him be. However, there are some that are showing signs of trusting people to be near them again, and we did have some beautiful encounters during my time in the park. Now Gorongosa National Park has an estimated population of around 1,000 elephants, and slowly we're gaining back their trust. The team working at Gorongosa are trying to heal the damage done to the ecosystem as a whole. This includes reintroduction plans for important species to help bring back the balance.
During the Civil War, the dogs, they were completely disappeared. That's why Gorongosa National Park is trying to reintroduce more dogs so that we can actually have the more predators, because we know we have a lot of antelope, like waterbucks, impalas, reedbucks, and many more antelope we have. So we need more predators just to make a balance.
There's such a wide range of species here in the national park, from primates to bird life to insects. But I was really hoping to spend a bit more time with my favourite animal, the painted dogs. Something caught our eye in the distance in the muddy area ahead, so we headed off-road to take a closer look.
We've just found the dogs again, and it's the same group that we saw for the first time. The one with the injured ear is here, he's looking well, and the pups are just lying in the mud at the moment by a watering hole that we found them at. So I'm really happy that we managed to find them again, and they're already a little bit active, just getting up every now and then to go and interact with one another. So hopefully we'll be able to get some nice stuff tonight.
The pack will sleep like this for safety, but also for warmth and social bonding. Then one of the pups decides it's time to get up, so stalks over to one of the adults. This is playing for wild dogs, with the yipping noises and submissive stance showing that they're not a threat, a sign of being overtly submissive to the other members of their pack. For moments like this, I always like to be able to put my camera on the ground, so that I'm not looking down on the subject, but instead getting to their eye level and getting those nice low-angle shots. The rest of the pups start to wake up, moving amongst themselves whilst the adults are still trying to rest. Wild dogs are most active at dawn and dusk, so we're joining the pack as they're waking up for the night ahead. But some of the pack are more reluctant to wake up than others. First things first, it's playtime. And all the commotion got the adults up too. The one with the damaged ear is still resting amongst the pack. Before one of the others went over to groom them, helping to keep their wound clean.
This evening was really special for filming the dogs because there were so many instances that really gave clear examples of why they work together so well as a social unit. So we had the one that injured his ear last time we saw him, and today we saw the others helping to lick and clean his wounds. So not only do they help each other hunt, but they also take care of those who are sick and injured and help to increase their chances of survival. We also saw some really lovely behaviour of the pups when they woke up to go over to the adults, and those periods of greeting, you always see that really overtly submissive behaviour. They try to avoid aggression at all costs, so they have their shoulders low and low to the ground, going over, making their yips and whinnying sounds. So it was really lovely to be able to film that social interaction amongst the pack. The dogs went up into the forest over the edge of the pan, so there's a road that actually goes adjacent to it, so we're just taking that road now in the hope that we can find them again.
I put the drone up to try and help us spot them, and there they were up ahead, resting alongside the road. We managed to catch up with them and get one last glimpse of the pack before sunset. It was so beautiful to see them playing and chasing one another through the long grass. This was my final glimpse of the dogs, running off together as the sun was going down to hunt for the night. This marked our time to head back to camp for the night.
It's my last night tonight, so it's time to pack up my bags and head home, but I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please do like and subscribe if so. And in the next video, I'll be bringing you with me to explore Tanzania's Ruaha and Selous National Park.